Charge, man. Happy Saturday. Welcome in to another edition of Betting the Diamond right here on Pub Sports Radio. I'm your guy, Daby Cab, and with me, as always, I want to say as always, but pretty much every Saturday, my dude right here, Moose Money Bets. What's up, Moose?
Nothing much. Definitely not my bank account. The books have been taking their money back this week. So today is a new day. Today is a new day to dominate. And that is hopefully what we are able to do today. But regardless, ton of information, ton of stuff to go over. Let's get going.
Like you said, we'll get it rolling right now. I will say this, though. You were outstanding on last Saturday. We don't have our accounts do not have the benefit of picking one day. But when you only get on screen one day, that one day does matter for the viewers. So for you guys in the chat, if you were here last Saturday, Moose absolutely dominated. He's going to do the same thing today, man. It's early. You know, last week we had to kind of pump it up to get people in here. If you guys don't mind, man, hit the like, share the video, get it out there. I'm excited as hell for today's show. Shout out to our guy Swig Bets back there on the ones and twos, man. We got the graphics that Jimmy's getting to use with the pitchers, the bullpens, the lines, the batting average, the weather. We got everything here today. So without further ado, like Moose said, let's get this thing rolling and move on into the first game here. We got the Cardinals. And let me go ahead and pull this up. I still want my stuff that I have put aside. Sorry, Moose. Should have pulled this up before we started. All righty. And gotta find MLB. Here we go, baby. I know we got the San Antonio game, the Knicks game, the fifth game of the finals tonight, but it is about to be baseball dominant here. So strap in, get ready, lock in. Let's go, boys. Matthew Liberatore on the mound for St. Louis here, 3-3 with the 4.46 ERA, 61 strikeouts, 26 walks, going against Connor Prelip. I'm not going to say what you said, Moose. I'll let you have that one. I know you're looking forward to it. 2-4 with the 5.15 ERA, 49 strikeouts, 18 walks, and a 1.33 whip. Like I said, Moose, I will click through some of these weather graphics and stuff for the chat as you go through this, but take it away, my friend.
Yeah, Liberatore, he is, like you said, he's having a pretty decent year. But St. Louis, they are 9-4 on games that Liberatore has started, but they are 3-2 on the road, and they've lost the last two. 3.98 ERA in May. There have been 3 home and 3 road. Career worse on the road. He is plus 1.2 runs higher on the road than he is at home in his career. Versus right-handed hitters in his career, he's got a 278 average against, 454 slug against. That's not good, but since May, it is a 2.30 ERA with a 277 batting average against, but only a 337 slug, so you are seeing some improvement from Liberatore. There's a 33% four-seamer usage, and his four-seamer has been getting hit pretty well. 291 batting average against, expected batting average of 342, a 456 slug with a 589 expected slug. The four-seamer has been his issue. The slider and change are inconsistent. The slider metrics are somewhat positive, but he needs to use the slider better on the back door. If you're talking about back door, any of you that might not be common vernacular on this, back doors when you're throwing to the same arm side as the arms you're throwing with. So if I'm throwing back door, I'm throwing back door to the right-hand side of the plate. If I'm a lefty like Liberatore, I'm throwing to the left-hand side of the plate. He has been unable to execute that backdoor slider. If he starts executing that, I think that you're going to start to see a lot better command, and you're going to see a lot better performance from Liberatore. His curve is the pitch that he should be building off of. 154 batting average against, 158 expected batting average with a 269 slug. It's a 15% usage on his curve, which is slightly more than his changeup, and his changeup is ass. So I'm not exactly sure what I would expect from Liberatore. I would err on the side of, if you are struggling to throw a fastball in the zone and not have it get demolished, that is more reason to believe they're going to get hit than they would not. On the other side, you have Connor Pie Lip. You have hair lips and you have pie lips. Pie lips is when there's a pie in the piece of lip that would be missing. That's what Cab was referring to. So for all you uneducated pie lip non-aficionados, now you are able to go and find your favorite pie lip person out there in the world. He has been struggle busing, but solid expected numbers, and he's using his slider more. So if he's using his slider more, he's going to start having a little bit more success. But the problem that he's had is his fastball gets too elevated up in the zone. And for a guy that only averages about 95 miles an hour on his fastball, he's going to need to make sure that he's allowing his movement to get lower in the zone. You don't get as much movement up in the zone. You get it more in the lower part of the zone. So he's going to need to be able to attack part of the low zone. He's going to probably want to try to take something off, get a little bit more movement, get a little bit more weak contact oriented in performances. And he's better home than he is road. I think it's still raw. He's still figuring it out. I don't really have a play in this game. Minnesota against left-handed pitchers haven't been really good. Since May 11th, St. Louis has been hitting the lefties really well. I don't have a major take in this other than I think Pilup's a guy you can kind of look at as a project that might be something. He is the number 5 prospect in the Minnesota organization. I don't have anything here today. I think there's a slight bump to bats, but I'm off of this game.
Well, so what I'm going to do for you guys in the chat, man, because I know a lot of you aren't just looking to tail. Some of you are. And if you are, I got 3+ money bets today that I like a lot. And I got a side that I like a lot. But some of you are looking for information and knowledge. And if that's what you're looking for at the end here, I'm still going to click through the other 2 graphics for y'all. We're not going to sit here and talk about it. I'm going to leave it there for a little bit. You can pause it and look at it if you want it or go back. Right here, though, with these batting average. So you see we got the Cardinals versus lefties. They got a 248 average as a team. And then you got the Twins versus lefties. They got a 229 average as a team. I wouldn't look at the overall average. I'm sure some of you are smart enough to know that. But for those of you that are new to capping baseball, I'd go to right about that 10-game range. Okay. The 5-game range, maybe I'd use that a little bit, but that's a bit too small of a sample size for hitters. I'm looking at about the 10-game range. So if I'm wanting to know how Twins are hitting versus lefties, I'm looking at about a 265, 270 average. If I'm wanting to know the Cardinals, I'm looking at about a 270 to the 280 average right there, if that makes sense for you guys. I'm going to put the weather up there real quick for you guys. I'm going to leave it for a split second, like I said. So if you want to pause it, you can. Put the bullpens up there for a split second as well, so you can get a little bit of bullpen information. And then after that, we're going to roll on here to the New York Yankees Toronto Blue Jays game, which I do have action in. So I'm excited to get to this one, and we move on. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I see my guy Gorky out there dropping a $2 dono. Thank you, Gorky. We appreciate you. Chappie Funk, man, Mr. Funk. He had Funk After Dark last night, Moose. I don't know if you saw that, but if you didn't, go check it out. Every Friday night, we're going to get Funk After Dark at 9 o'clock here on Pub Sports Radio. Super excited about that. Nicholas Handy, Robert Cherry. There's my bro right there, Robert Cherry. Shout out to all you guys rolling in. If you can, hit the like, share the video. We hit 120 today, I'll do a giveaway, $25 giveaway right here on the spot. But we just got to get up to that 120 mark. Anyways, here we go. We got the Blue Jays and Yankees here. This is a 2:07 my time, so that's 3:07 Eastern, 12:07 on the West Coast. You've got Cam Slitzler on the mound for the Yankees. Best thing going for them. 7-3 with the 1.87 ERA, 89 strikeouts, 14 walks, and a .87 whip. Wow, that's outstanding. Kevin Gausman, journeyman, still going here on the other side for the Blue Jays. 4-4 with a 3.6 ERA, 79 strikeouts, 14 walks, and a 1.09 whip. You're looking at about a -127, -130 favorite for the Yankees here. Total is sitting at a 7.5. That 7.5 is probably earned. I do kind of like the first 5 over here because even with how well Cam's been throwing, I always say this, I don't care if it's Superman and Jesus on the mound. A 3.5 is just too low for a total in the first 5. Doesn't mean that it goes over, but I think it will probably about 60% of the time. What I did, Moose, as much as I love my guy Ben Rice, anybody who's been following me knows I bet the shit out of Ben Rice. He is 0 for 10 against Kevin Gausman in his career. He has not got one hit in his 10 at-bats. That is a 0 batting average over 10 at-bats. Is he due? Probably. Could he get a hit today? Of course he could. Am I going to bet somebody that's over 10 against a pitcher? Hell no. I'm not stupid, okay? But who I am going to bet is Paul Goldschmidt, who, interestingly enough, sitting in that leadoff spot, I love that. You're on the road. You're in a leadoff spot. You're going to maximize at-bats here for me. And on top of that, Paul Goldschmidt's been killing the baseball, and he's hitting right about 422 off Kevin Gausman in 22 at-bats. He's got 10 hits and 22 at-bats, so I think it's a wonderful spot for him. He's obviously got the extra base hit power. And on top of everything, you're getting good plus money for it. So Paul Goldschmidt over 1.5 total bases. And I love the bet. What you got here?
Man, is it really the total 7.5 right now? Is it really that 7.5?
Yes.
Really? All right. That's all right. This series is this in 13 of 15 games between the Yankees and the Blue Jays in Toronto. 13 of the 15 games, at least 9 runs have been scored. And you're throwing out a 7.5. Like that's a pretty large indicator of kind of where they think this game is going. I say all that, and this exact same thing happened yesterday because it was the Yankees or the Yankees only as a plus 100 dog against the Blue Jays in a scenario where the Blue Jays are 11-4 at home against the Yankees. They're 8-2 now in their last 10 at home against the Yankees. And if I'm looking at the lines correctly, it looks like the Yankees are favored against Gausman, who has a ton of experience. The dude has has a 12-10 record against the Yankees. 12-10. Like, how many pitchers in baseball right now have a record where the win and loss column are both in double digits? So a very veteran guy. There's a lot of familiarity. 8 players on the Yankees have at least 10 plus at bats. You already referred to Ben Rice as one of them. Only 3 have good numbers against him. Goldie, have you mentioned? McMahon and Caballero. Those are the only ones that have good numbers against him. I think it's kind of a get right spot for Gausman after a couple of back-to-back poor outings because he's very familiar with this team. It's about Schlitter. Like, what are we going to get from Schlitter? The Yankees, though, are 10-4 in starts where Schlitter's on the mound, 6-2 when he's on the road. 4-3 though since May. The issue with Schlitter has been his cutter. He's been elevating the cutter just a little bit too much. It's getting out over the plate. So much of what he does depends on that cutter. You hear about tunneling a lot in pitching. If he has his cutter, that gives him that out right off the left side of the plane. If you're looking at the plate, the left side plane of the plate, he's able to execute and get out that. Every other pitch he has, he can go down and in, he can go the opposite direction. The cutter is required. If you play MLB The Show, you know if the pitches are only going one of 2 directions, you can kind of sit on that movement. As soon as he gets that cutter to move across, you can't sit on that movement anymore. The cutter is the pitch to pay attention to. He has not done well in his 3 starts against Toronto, a 5.68 ERA with a 2.13 whip, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 6 innings pitched, 8 hits. And Toronto has been hitting right-handed pitchers well. They've been hitting right-handed pitchers very well at home. I would absolutely lean to the over, but 7.5, really? No, I'm not touching that over. But I think the under would be the call. I would go contrarian, but everything on this cap said over, but the number is at 7.5. That is something to at least process if you are playing the over.
Speaking of, man, I've always found this so fucking you don't always see this, but it always makes me smile when you see fucking the numbers boosted on home runs but not on doubles and triples. And I'm not going to go into why I get it, but it's just that's so stupid. Like, I understand, like I get that the math might actually equate to what we're showing you on the screen. How the fuck are your home runs going to be up 19% and the doubles and triples are going to be down 6%? That doesn't make any sense. But anyways, here are the graphics again for you guys.
I think the roof has been open. I think the roof is open at Rogers Centers. I think they opened it like a week ago. So I think they have it open. So the weather is relevant here. If anybody was wondering, like, it's the Rogers Center, there's literally a dome. Like, no, I think it's open at this point.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so like I said, I'm on Paul Goldschmidt. Moose, you leaned well, you didn't bet, so it doesn't matter. I'm on Paul Goldschmidt here. We'll keep this one rolling, man. Shout out to my guy Dizzy Donuts in the chat. Josh Witt. There's Nasty Nate, my guy, man. Metro number 2 out there in the chat. Shout out to him. Let's keep this thing rolling, man. All right. We got the Seattle Mariners taking on the Washington Nationals. And give me a moment in between games, guys. I got to click back through all my shit. And while I'm clicking through it, hit the like and share it out there, man. Like I said, 120 today, and I'll do a giveaway right here on the spot. All right, Seattle Mariners, first in the division, man. The first place Seattle Mariners, not just the Seattle Mariners, the first place Seattle Mariners at 37-34 because the AL is ass. Taking on the Nationals, sitting at 35-35 here. You got Luis Castillo on the mound for the Mariners. not doing so hot this year. 2-5 with a 5.16 ERA, 61 strikeouts, 23 walks, and a 1.36 whip. You got Savali on the other side. Cade Savali, 3-4 with the 3.88 ERA, 76 strikeouts, 25 walks, and a 1.44 whip. Washington is a slight favorite here. Minus 120 is what I'm showing. I know the screen says it's a pick 'em, but I'm showing a minus 120 here. Obviously, shop around. Total sitting right at a 9, both places. Man, I tell you what, I only said it once this year, man, but whenever you have Castillo as a dog, I don't give a fuck what his numbers look like. It makes me want to bet it. And you look at his last start against Detroit, 5 2/3 innings. He only gave up 2 hits and 1 run. You look at the start before that against Arizona, 5 innings, only gave up 2 hits and 1 run. You go back another start. The A's only went 4 innings, but only gave up 2 hits, no runs. So we're 2 1-run starts, only 6 hits given up in his last 3 starts. You take out that start against Minnesota where he gave up 7 runs and Castillo all of a sudden looks like Castillo again. I like the Mariners right here. The more that I talk about it, have not bet it yet. Moose, what you got?
Yeah, I'm seeing a different version of Castillo. I see a guy that he's just all over the place and right down the middle. And as pitching coaches, those are
the numbers back what I was saying, though.
I know that's what I'm going to get there because there's a point here I'm going to make at the end that kind of brings me right back to what you're talking about. But if you look at his zone chart, if you look at Castillo's zone chart, Baseball Savant, it's all over the place. Like it's everywhere. And you watch his games and it matches what you're seeing on the zone chart. He is just all over the place. His metrics, like his velo, his spin rate, they're all normal. It's just the control. He's just not. He's never been a control guy to begin with. I'm not going to sit here and be like, he's always been a strike thrower. He's not. But 8.5% walk rate this year is the highest he's had since 2021. When he went to the Mariners, that was something they really focused on, was they really got his walk rate down. This year, it's ballooning back up. Against right-handed pitching, Washington, since May 25th, we talked about the numbers before. For left-handed pitchers, I want to get at least to the 200s. And for right-handed pitchers, I want to get into like the 300s, ideally at least 200, but I want to see at least 300 ABs. Since May 25th, 419 at-bats for Washington versus right-handed pitching, 247 average, 424 slug, and a 178 ISO. Since May 18th at home, 300 ABs, 243 average, 388 slug, and a 146 ISO. So their power isn't as significant at home recently, which kind of goes into what you were talking about, because all this stuff with Cavalli as well, it's been runs in all of his games. Here's his run totals in Cavalli's games this year. 14, 11, 13, 21, 13, 9, 16, 14, 7.
Is it Cavalli or Savali? Not that I care, but I figure you get it right, so I'll try.
We can go hard or soft, however you want to go on that C, but
Dutch would love you, bro. All right, keep going.
We can either go blue chew or let it ride raw. So, however you want to do that, hard or soft C. But 14, 7, 16, 3, 9, 10, and 1. Those are high numbers, and all this would lean me towards an over. Seattle against right-handed pitching has been very, very good. Not as well on the road recently, but still good. But the number was at 9. Why was it at 9 and at minus 105 to the under when I checked it last night? San Diego, Baltimore was 9.5, and that seemed like that should have been 9. St. Louis, Minnesota is a 9, and that felt like that was the right place for there to be a 9. This doesn't feel like it should be a 9. So why is it a 9? I think there might be expectations that either one or both of these guys pitch as well. And you just made a case for Castillo. I think the market says Savali is the guy that would be the better option here, but you're always going to see home bias. You're always going to see a home lean towards first pitch at the window generally. And that also might've been the case here. I can see what you're seeing, Cab, on the Luis Castillo. I'm not there. The control is an issue to me, but I see what you're seeing. Like Seattle could be a sneaky play here against Washington, but Washington 4-3 against Seattle since 24. but only 2-2 at home. So I could see a Seattle play here. I don't think that's a bad idea if you want to back Castillo.
I appreciate that you had my back a little bit there. It looks like the chat is on the other side, though. Like my guy 2 cents. Let me pull up there and get his bet right here. And I love how 2 cents attacks the plus money like myself in the diamond. He said Yankees and Nationals plus 234 for him. Shout out to my guy 2 cents. He said he's been on a skid lately, so it's probably Seattle. And you can't think like that, bro. Can't think like that. I say it, I don't like to say it either, but I was up like 23 units, dropped all the way down to 3 units. Now I'm back up to like 7, 8 units. It's a grind. 2 cents. It's a grind. Today you win. Yeah. Tomorrow you win. We keep winning. That's how we're going to do it. And shout out to my dude.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say sports scientist Jacob in the chat, man. Great baseball capper. You've seen him up here with me a couple times. But if you do not follow him on X, just like my dude 2 cents, go follow those guys. Lone Star Rider, good to see you out there in the chat, man. Everybody, Kelly, man, I miss you on the sesh, man. I know it's a tough time because people got work and stuff, but it's good to see you in here, my brother. Let's keep going. What were you going to say, Moose?
I did like the over. I was going to say I did like the over, but like I just said, I mean, I'm not going to hate on anybody that would want to think that Castillo is going to pitch well here, but the fact Cab, like a guy that I trust and respect here, is immediately kind of going, hey, Castillo's a dog. Like when he's in situations like this, that is enough for me to pull me off the over. I was looking at it, but I'm not going to play it here because I would generally agree with what the chat's saying. Castillo might be washed, maybe, but I think there's enough of a dog in him to respect where the line is setting it that I'm going to stay off of this over. But I did like that over. I had it written down, but I'm not going to.
You simplified my entire thought process right there at the end. Yeah, he might be washed as a whole on the season, but you make him a dog for one day. What's that old fucking country song? I ain't as good as I used to, but I'm as good as I once was, or whatever the fuck it says. That's kind of how I look at Castillo. He's not quite in that Max Scherzer range where I have no interest in backing him no matter what. So anyways, here we go. Next game. Man, I got to say it one more time. These fucking graphics are outstanding, man. Hats off to our guy Swig, man. Tip of the cap to you. I love this, man. And now we got something to build on with this. I'm looking forward to it. Marlins Pirates here for the next one. Both sitting at 35 and 35. I was real hot on talking about how, the NL and this young Pirates team was going to take off. But we've seen a little bit of, expected regression for some of these players on this team here. You got Lake. Who the fuck names their kid Lake? It's like, I can't come up with the name. Pond? No, that ain't it. Lake. Yeah, let's go with Lake.
There's kids named River.
No, I know a kid named River. We can't.
Yeah, I know there's kids named Rivers. Yeah.
We can't do River. We already know River, so let's just go with Pond. Oh wait, my bad. Lake. We're going with Lake. Lake Batcher on the mound for Miami.
Delta.
What'd you say?
Ocean. I'm just random bodies of water.
Jetty. All right. Anyways, we got a Lake Batcher on the mound with a 2.9.
All right, Jetty would be a badass name. I'm just gonna throw that. Jetty would be a pretty badass name. Sorry.
2.97 ERA. This is a bullpen guy, so you're hoping for 3 innings right here. I don't think that they've announced they're trying to start him in this game as a starter. The most you've seen him go is 3 innings in any game. 2.97 ERA, 41 strikeouts, 12 walks, and a .91 WHIP against Bubba Chandler on the other side. 4.19 ERA or 4.91 ERA, 62 strikeouts, 40 walks, and a 1.44 WHIP. Pitt is a minus 130 favorite, is what I'm showing. Minus 135 favorite. Total sitting at about a 9 here, and it doesn't look like that 9 is moving anywhere. I don't have anything in this game. This is one of the handful of games that I really didn't even have a lean. So what you got, Moose?
Yeah, they didn't really announce who was going to be pitching for Miami until kind of later last night. And from everything I was reading last night when I kind of did this quickly, was that we don't know who's going to be behind Bashar, Lake, River, Jetty. We don't know who's going to be pitching behind him. So there's really not a lot of action. I mean, I'm looking at Wager Talk right now, trying to think of something to be informative about, because I like to give stats and information here, but they don't have anything on Wager Talk. They're literally like, I got nothing. So we don't really even know who's going to be behind Miami or behind Bachar. They haven't announced that there's going to be a bulk guy. If you have it in the chat, throw it out there. I don't know why Miami would announce their plans of what they're doing. That would be stupid of any manager. Just be like, here's our game plan for today. Go ahead and plan accordingly. Like, that's just ridiculous. Bubba Chandler, he's got incredible stuff. He just can't control his velo. His velocity is impressive. He ranks in like the 98th percentile of pitchers this year, but can't control it. Just it's going to be difficult to be effective when you are constantly creating runners, whether it's free passes or throwing something down the middle. He is going to be very good. If you talk about just the projection of the future for the Pirates, their rotation looks very good, whether with Jarrett Jones and Paul Skeens, with Ashcraft and Chandler here. They got a lot of reasons for optimism in that rotation. But in this game today, I got really nothing because I don't know what to expect from Miami and their bullpen. And quite frankly, I don't know what you should expect from Bubba Chandler. Maybe a walks prop, but I got nothing. I wish I had more for you, but there's unfortunately not a lot of information to go off of for this game. You are muted, sir.
I love these graphics. I keep coming back to them. Look, you can't simplify anything to as simple as I'm about to make this for you guys. You don't want to do this, but damn, there are some checkpoints when you're betting things that if you don't hit that checkpoint, just let it go. Don't force it, right? Don't force something. And right here, I know this is simple, but look, here's the pitchers. Okay, we're back on the pitchers here. You've got a slight downtrend from, a 4.8 all the way down to that 4 point, or from a 5.4 down to that 4.8. You go all the way back, to the whole season of 5.5. So you're trending down with Bubba Chandler. You look at the hitting again for the Marlins against righties, and they're trending extremely in the right direction against right-handers. So you got one pitcher who's trending in the wrong direction, that's a righty, and then you got the other team that's trending in the right direction against righties. Again, that is not a reason to bet the Marlins, but damn sure a reason that I would not bet against them in this situation, if that makes sense. So we keep it rolling here. I know Moose is going to love this next game. Moose, I can't stand this Padres, bro. As a team that for years you've gotten to know, people thought I was a fan because I bet them so much. But this is going to show this year how I really am. If I don't fucking bet a team, I don't care about them, and I no longer care about the Padres. I can't bet them because I'm an over with total bases. I look for certain hitter props, and the only way I would bet the Padres is Manny Machado under, followed by a Manny Machado under, with another Manny Machado under, and then a couple more Manny Machado unders. So here we go. How do you feel about paying that dude $222 million over the next 3 years?
Dude, the adage, you work until you get paid, and then you work like you got paid, however that goes. You work to get paid, and then you work as if you got paid, something like that. Yeah, you don't see him like, you don't see the same type of focus. You don't see.
He sure don't seem like he gives a fuck, does he?
Yeah,
he does not seem like he gives a fuck, and that's what's the most frustrating about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, here we go. Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres. 5-4 with the 3.63 ERA. 53 strikeouts, 20 walks, and a 1.3 WHIP. Trey Gibson on the mound for Baltimore. I was looking to see, I guess he's gone 4 2/3 a couple times, so this is technically a starter here. 4.24 ERA, 5 strikeouts, 8 walks, gross, a 1.53 WHIP. After what I just read off, you're sitting here with Baltimore as the favorite in this game. Boy, the Padres are ass, Moose. Total sitting at 10. What you got?
All right, well, this is the old adage: if you have an offense that's not scoring runs, pitching becomes a lot more difficult. Here is the the run support that Randy Vasquez has had this year. He's got, and this is like the full game, not just like in his when he's been in the game, the entire game, all 9 innings. All right, 3, 3, 7, 7, 1, 9, 2, 4, 2, 0, 3, 2, 3. Since on the season, that's a 3.81. I'm sorry. Let me take a step back. If you are a pitching coach, you're asking your offense score more than 3.5, because our ERA is going to be lower than 3.5. If our offense can score more than 3.5 and our ERA is lower than 3.5, that's going to generally be a recipe for success. Randy Vasquez is, he will allow base runners. He is a much better pitcher this year. His velocity's up, his spin rate's up. His metrics are all very positive. But when you are constantly having to pitch through inefficiencies on the offensive end, it just stresses you out. It creates high stress pitches, and that's what you've been seeing. You're starting to see a little bit of regression from Vasquez is he's got no run support. I mean, on the season, Padres ranked dead last in runs per game with 3.81. Since May, they have averaged 2.29 runs per game. That is inefficiency to the maximum degree.
They were hitting 198 30 games into the season. That's not real, bro.
It is very real. It is very, very real.
No way.
And then there's this whole cry of like, oh, fire the hitting coach. Okay, well then what happens next? It's not like you have somebody that's ready to go. You're going, hey, at least we have.
I mean, if you fired him at around the 30 or 20 game out mark right there, you wouldn't have got worse. That would have been a great time to fire him because whoever came in would have been doing a better job. I can tell you that.
Yeah, there's talks of like, hey, maybe this is the opportunity to get Pujols in as a hitting coach because the Padres are going to have money to spend. I don't know how likely that stuff would be, but you can't like discuss like the situations of like, let's fire this guy and there's no reasonable replacement. And the Padres' inefficiency has been a problem. On the other side, Trey Gibson, who is the number 3 Baltimore prospect, in all 4 of his appearances, the opponents have scored 11 runs, 4 runs, 11 runs, and 6 runs. This seems like this would be an over, and at 9.5, it feels a little bit more palatable. I'm not sure what the market is saying on this as I pull that up very quickly. Looks like you got most of the bets are on the over, 63% generally consensus, 60% of the cash, and the over has not really moved. So maybe they're expecting a better performance from Vasquez. Gibson does have a lot of talent, and the Padres' offensive inefficiencies may lead to an under, but it went over last night. I could only look at the over here, though.
Only look at it over there. Like I said, guys, we're not going to break down every single graphic we have on here. Like the bullpens right now, we're not even going into. But here's your bullpen information. That Padres bullpen, especially the last 5 games, has been electric. Orioles bullpen is getting better. Padres can pitch. They just can't hit. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But here we go. Man, I guess because I've got 3 more bets that we haven't got to, and we've done several games here. So I guess all my bets are in the later games, man. Shout out to my dude, Dutch Boy Fresh right there in the chat, man. If you did not go to the sesh yesterday, Moose, you can too after the show. Guess the score of the game tonight. Knicks and Spurs. Who wins? Guess the score. If you get it right, we send you $100 to start the show on Monday, and everybody can guess. So all y'all should go in there, man. And we'll do the same thing on this show too. A chance at $200 right here on Pub Sports Radio. Pick any baseball game today. Tell me who wins, what the score is in the chat, in the comments after the show. If you get it right, I'll send you $100 next Saturday to start the show. But here we go, man. Next game on the docket. Going through the graphics. 1 second. Dodgers, Chicago here. Let me move us back. All right. 44-26 Dodgers taking on the 37-31 Chicago White Sox. How about those Chicago White Sox, man? Yamamoto is on the mound for the Dodgers here. 6-4 with a 2.68 ERA, 37 strikeouts, 15 walks, and a .92 whip. As a pitching coach, I could not help but to go in on Yamamoto last week when you were here on the show with me, Moose. And I'm just going to say it again. Dude is 5'10" and he gets the same extension as fucking Painter that's 6'7". That blows my mind. How is a 5'10" guy landing down the mound in the same spot as somebody who's 6'7"? Shout out to, the mechanics that are coming across from overseas. Burke on the mound for the White Sox, 3-3 with the 3.88 ERA, 67 strikeouts, 23 walks, and a 1.18 whip. You got a -200 favorite here, -205 favorite in the Dodgers. Total sitting at about an 8. Shit, I got nothing on this one, Moose. What you got?
Yamamoto, the Dodgers are 8-4 when he's on the mound, but they're only 3-2 on the road when Yami is starting. Burke has struggled against left-handed hitters. That is why in their last start against the Phillies, they brought in Isert. They had Isert open the game, and they brought in Burke for the bulk, and it worked. So let's not do that again. Let's definitely not do something that worked and got us a win against a good competitive team. Let's definitely go back to Burke in the rotation. It just screams like they're trying to give Burke in some confidence. That's what this seems like. It feels like, we believe in you, big guy. We got your back. We're going to hand you the rock because we know that it's not about what you've done. It's about what you're going to do. I think this is probably the wrong move. Like, why not have Iser go back out there? Like, Dodgers have lefties too. Like, let Iser pitch to the top of the lineup and then bring Burke in for the bulk, just like they did last time, which resulted in a win. And the Phillies the White Sox were able to put up a bunch of runs and ran away with it. So I don't know why they're not doing that. So I got nothing in this game. It should be noted, though, White Sox are going through an absolute gauntlet of opponents. They played Philadelphia. They went 1-2 against Philly. The one game they won was the game that Burke did the little piggyback thing. And then they went 2-0 against Atlanta. They are currently playing the Dodgers, and they have the Yankees up next. And they travel to Detroit, and they play Cleveland at home. That's a hell of a schedule. So, for a young team, this might be a good opportunity to pick a dog, because they're going to be getting up for these games, because this is a great opportunity for them to take that big step forward. I personally expect from the beginning of the year, and I think a lot of pundits around baseball are kind of giving a little bit of respect to this young White Sox team and what they're capable of, because they're only going to get better. They're young, and they're going to get better.
Let me put the batting up here for a second. My bad, Moose. I do a better job clicking through this usually. I know you're done with it, but I want to give the information to everybody in the chat that our guy Swig is getting here for us. And while I'm putting these up on the screen for you guys, do me a favor, if you don't mind, and hit the like button, share the video. But Swig said, heads up, the White Sox pulls the Red Sox batting and bullpen. Need to fix it. Shout out to my guy AOD, man. There's my dude AOD in the chat, man. That's one of the real ones. Lone Star Raider, good to see you in there. Put the weather up for you guys. Let that sit there for a split second. Gonna go to the bullpens really quick for you guys. Let you see that. Like I said, take a screenshot. Holy shit, what's going on with the bullpens? You might want to go first five if you're betting this game, if you feel like you have a read on a starting pitcher. Looks like these bullpens are blown up. Over the last 20 games, even, you got a 5.81 ERA for the Dodgers bullpen. Not good. Looks like the Red Sox bullpen. See, this is where I say I look at 10 games, okay? So we see here the Red Sox bullpen, a 6.23 ERA in the last 5 games. Okay, somebody shit their sheets, right? Because if you go back 10 games.
That's the Red Sox. That's Red Sox. So it's not the White Sox pen.
What did I say?
You said that's the Red. This is everything you're looking at there is the Red Sox bullpen information.
Yeah, I know. If I said White Sox, I meant Black Sox. My bad. Here we go. So you go back 10. You go back 10 games ago. You got a 2.97 ERA. I would not worry about that 5-game stretch for the ERA. However, if I'm looking at the Dodgers, yeah, red flags are coming up right there, all across the board. Last 20 games of 5.81. Last 5 games of 8.85. Anyways, here we go. Moving on to the next game here, and I do have action in this one. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you don't mind, hit the like button, share the video. Let's get to that 120 mark today. Got the Atlanta Braves taking on the New York Mets. Hey, are the Mets finally going to win a few baseball games? It seems like they're acting like it. Braves sitting at 45-24. The Mets 31-38. I mean, for the circus or whatever you want to call it that's been going on for the Mets this year, 31-38 is not the worst record. You still got time to get that shit right. It's now or never, but, they can still do it. Martin Perez on the mound for the Braves here, 4-3 with the 3.02 ERA, 47 strikeouts, 20 walks, a 1.06 whip. Sean Manaea on the mound on the other side, 1-1 with a 5.02 ERA, 45 strikeouts, 17 walks, and a 1.44 whip. Look, man, you got the Braves as a slight underdog here. The Mets as a slight favorite. You got a total sitting at about an 8.5. What this says to me is bait. I feel like I am being baited right now to bet on the Braves. It feels like they're dangling this down there and saying, hey, you stupid fish, better, you want to come take this bait? And guess what? I got a hook in my mouth because I took it. I don't give a shit. You want to give me the Braves as a better fucking number than the fucking Mets? And it's not like you've got – look, I know Sean Manaea has the ability to go out there and throw well. He's had that ability for a long time. And Martin Perez is kind of a trash can. I've said that all along going back to this time with the Rangers. Perez is a guy that's going to go out there and give up 3 or 4 runs most of the time. It's who he is. but you're giving me a better number on the Braves. Fuck yeah, I took it. Give me the Braves right here on the money line. That's my bet here for this one. And they're on a 3-game losing streak. I think they'd like to get right here. They got that off day because of the weather against the White Sox. That's why they only played 2 games against the White Sox. So they got to sit there for a second and think, hey, we just got, swept if you want. We got beat 2 games here against the White Sox. You go back 3 games ago, they lost that game. They lost yesterday against the Mets and 2 games ago against the White Sox. This is a situation where I think they bounce back. What you got here, Moose?
Yeah, I didn't really get too much of this game. They didn't really confirm who was pitching until they announced Sean Manaea as the starter. This is going to be his first start, and he's been a bulk guy all year. There has been improvement since May, but he is only conditioned for about 65 to 70 pitches, and the bullpen for New York has been worked quite a bit. Devin Williams has pitched in back-to-back nights, 16 pitches on Thursday, 33 pitches last night. Brooks Raley has 42 pitches in the last 2 nights. You had Brazoban get to about 20 pitches last night. So there are some arms that have been worked out in that pen. The high leverage guy of Devin Williams is potentially down. Luke Weaver should be fine. AJ Minter should be fine. Austin Warren, I'm not sure about his availability. He's probably going to be available. But you're also Peterson. Very likely could be available behind Manaea, but he threw 63 pitches on Tuesday. So not sure what the Mets are going to do with their bullpen. Atlanta's bullpen this year has been one of the best, and you could possibly make the case that it has been the best bullpen in baseball. And you look at that trend right there on the screen right in front of you. That bullpen has been trajecting down as the season has been progressing. So even though they've been at 2.87 beginning, they are the last few games just absolutely unhittable. I really didn't have much of a cap on this game just because I didn't have all that much information. But hey, New York hitting lefties per power, not necessarily for average. 233 average, 449 slug with a 216 ISO. Atlanta against lefties since May 18th in about 300 plate appearances, 243 average, 425 slug, 181 ISO. If you kind of pull up what the weather is going to be like out in Citi Field, there's going to be some hitting weather out in Citi Field, even though this series has generally has a trajectory towards the under. I think this might be a sneaky
Graphic
place.
disagrees with you. Your singles are up 1% though.
But I mean, you got warm temperature. All right. So if you have warm temperature, that ball can stay in the air a little bit longer. So
I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it out there. This is the one thing that now if I see like some serious like minus 50% or 40, like which I don't know if I've ever seen, I don't pay too much attention to the weather, but I love everything else.
Yeah, because I mean, when I'm going off of Kevin Roth weather here, and they've got about 30% humidity, so not a ton of humidity, but nice warm weather. The wind should be blowing out a little bit to right field at about 10 miles an hour. So yeah,
the humidity is going to knock the ball down a little bit. Probably that's just where they get those numbers off of. You put a little bit of
humidity keeps the ball in the air.
The moisture in the air is going to knock it down.
Marine layer knocks it down. Humidity keeps it up. I'm almost positive about this.
Nah, that doesn't.
I'm almost positive.
I haven't read anything off this. Chat, back us up here. Let us know.
I'm almost positive. We want to chat GPT this.
I'm not wanting to chat GPT this right now.
Humidity help the ball, because we'll just do this right now.
Does it help it travel or does it knock it down?
Humidity does not make a ball stay or travel shorter distances. Humidity air is less dense than dry air because the water vapor molecules are lighter than nitrogen. Because the air is thinner, there is less drag, allowing a struck or thrown ball to travel slightly further. Thank you, Moose Money, for the win.
You just told me that fucking water weighs more.
Thank you very much.
You just told me that air. No, you just told me that air weighs more than water. I ain't buying that shit. You got to put water. You got to put air in.
Less than water.
You can't even have water without air. That don't even.
All right. Well, anyways, so moving on. I do think that warmer weather is going to generally almost always have a little bit bump to bats. But conversely, if it's a little bit warmer like it is, you're also going to have pitchers that are going to be able to stay loose, stay warm. So the positives also have some negatives to it. I'm off of this game. All this discussion just to be like I'm off of this game. But I do really like where you're at with your Atlanta side, because I think that would be the way to approach this game with a New York bullpen that has been taxed a little bit and a Braves team that has just been very good this year.
Well, back-to-back games I got action on. I do like that. We're moving on to the Texas Rangers, Boston Red Sox game. Nasty Nate already said the Red Sox smash. Maybe. I don't care who wins the game. I just want to hit my prop, Nate. Rangers at 34-35 on the season. Red Sox 28-29. Looks like Texas is a underdog according to our graphic. I got the opposite though. I got Texas at -118. So Texas is just a slight favorite with Jacob deGrom on the mound. deGrom 5-4 on the year with a 3.18 ERA, 85 strikeouts, 15 walks, and a .99 WHIP. deGrom's one of those guys, like he's going to give up a few long balls here, but keep people off base, and the long ball's not going to burn you so bad. Ranger Suarez on the other side, 2-3 with a 3.18 ERA, 63 strikeouts, 19 walks, and a 1.14 WHIP. Guys, the Rangers have been dominated by Suarez over the years. If you look at his numbers against them, just absolutely nightmare numbers for the Rangers. They cannot hit the guy. Good news is I took Josh Young, who has never had a single plate appearance against him. Okay, so I've got somebody that we've got nothing to go off of. And I've watched this Rangers team enough this year to know that when nobody wants to hit the ball, Josh Young's the one person that's like, here, let me hit the fucking baseball for you guys, since nobody else wants to. So regardless of what everyone else on the team does, at +130, you got the green monster out there. Just give me a pop fly that bounces off the wall, Young. I know you can do it, bro. So Josh Young over 1.5 total bases. That's my bet on this one. What you got, Moose?
Yeah, kind of weird how Red Sox at home this year, 11-21 at home. Texas 13-18 on the road. Boston has been 8-6 versus Texas since 2024, and they are 5-2 against Texas at home since 2024. You mentioned Suarez having really good numbers against Texas, but I mean, it's only been 2 starts against Texas, and both of them were at home when he was with Philadelphia, a stadium that he did not pitch all that well in. So the fact that he did well in those starts does have a little bit of weight to it. Only 72 combined ABs against Suarez by Texas hitters, 5 of 18 by Elias Diaz, and 4 of 29 by Brandon Nimmo. At a home this year, Ranger Suarez a 3.77 ERA, and Texas against left-handed pitchers since May 18th, about 200 ABs, 285 average, 603 slug, and a 958 OPS. I do think that Texas might have an ability to kind of get to Suarez a little bit here, specifically because you look at what his record is at home, or at least what the Red Sox record is at home when Suarez is on the mound. 1-5 when he's on home. Boston's 1-5 when he's pitched at home this year. They're 5-7 on the year when Suarez is on the bump. You already mentioned the barrel thing on deGrom, and I texted you a trivia question that blew me away when I found it. Here's the trivia question. I'll ask this, and chat, go ahead and ask the question out loud and ask and answer. Since 2020, the MLB average barrel rate was between 7 and 8%. How many seasons since 2020 has deGrom been lower than league average barrel rate? So if he was 78%, if the MLB average is 78%, 7 to 8%, how many years since 2020 has deGrom been under league average? Give you a second. If you answered 1, you are correct. It's only happened once since 2020. And since 2024, his barrel rate, 10.7%, 9.3%, and 10.4% this year. And remember, the average is about 7.2% this year. So he is significantly over, and he gave up 7 home runs in 3 games this year, and he gave up 9 home runs in the month of May, but he's coming off of 2 back-to-back get-right starts. He did face Boston last year on opening day. He went 5 innings pitched, only 2 hits and 6 strikeouts. Boston against right-handed pitching has been meh, not really all that great, not a ton of power. So I definitely think Texas might be the side here, but the fact that they have struggled on the road and they've also struggled at Boston the last couple of years lead me off of this, but I think Texas would be the only side I could bet here. Did not get to the window, not going to get to the window, but Texas would be the side. And also don't love the market move because it was, I think, closer to a pick 'em. And now you're seeing DeGrom move towards a dog, and do not like ever seeing that kind of movement on DeGrom.
Now, I'm going to drop it after this, but my guy Steve said, sit this one out. Bro, first off, just like everything, you read a little bit more. Okay, so here's what Moose said about the humidity. Makes the air less dense, which helps the ball travel. That's what you guys said. However, extreme humidity or extreme humid weather can make the ball itself heavier and less bouncy, which can slightly reduce how far it travels or flies after being hit.
Good thing they switch that ball out all the time.
Well, I'm just saying, balls change as the season goes, Moose. You know that. We don't got time to go into this. Yeah, but as soon as shit starts getting more humid, the baseballs, whether they're sitting in a bucket in a room, it doesn't matter. The baseball changes as the season goes on.
Yeah. 100%. And also the conspiracy theories of what Manfred wants. So we go down that rabbit hole as well. But moving on.
Let me throw the bullpen up here in case they want it real quick. I know you were touching on it. I'm just going to let it sit there so you guys can see it. I'm going to throw the weather up there. There's that if you want to see this one. And now we can move on here to the Tigers and the Cleveland Guardians. The Tigers got their Ninja Turtle back on the mound today. I know that. Here we go. All right. Detroit Tigers, 29-41. Not the season they were expecting. Tigers were a team I think a lot of us expected to be a good baseball team this year, and they're not a good baseball team. Guardians sitting at 38-33 on the other side. They are doing great this year. You've got Tyreek Skubal on the mound for the Tigers, finally coming back. 3-2 on the season with a 2.70 ERA, 45 strikeouts, 6 walks, and a .95 whip. Even though he put that turtle shell on, it seems like he can still pitch. So shout out to him. You got Cantillo on the other side. Good Lord, words are tough this morning. 4-3 with a 4.57 ERA. 63 strikeouts, 36 walks, and a 1.51 whip. Detroit's a -155 favorite here, which I know with Skubal on the mound, you can be like, oh, wow, that's a really short line. He hasn't pitched, so, pump the brakes. Total sitting at right about an 8. What you got here, Moose?
I mean, first off, there was a lot of, how the hell is he back in 38 days? And
that is kind of crazy.
45 days. I mean, the normal standard time is about 6 to 12 weeks if you remove a foreign body that does not have any kind of impact on ligaments or tendons. And that's essentially, it was like a little just piece of like a little bone chip or something. They just kind of pulled that out. And good athletes, like elite athletes, they have recovery in their muscles that is generally going to be better than the average person. So the people that are freaking out, like, how is he coming back this quick? Like, he's a professional athlete. His muscles were already in very good working order before the injury. So when he's doing his rehab, there's nothing to think that he's not going to have a very quick and speedy recovery. He certainly did. And in his first outing, his rehab outing, what did he do? He went 5 innings, I believe. 5 innings pitched, 5 2/3, and he gave up 3 hits. No, I'm sorry, that's Castillo. Where's Skubals?
Bro, Skubal looks like like I said earlier, he looks like he got 35 years older in fucking 6 months.
Yeah, I haven't really seen a picture of him. Is it like,
dude, he's not even the same person. He first off walks with the limp now. Second, he got a turtle shell in front of his body.
I've not seen it.
Bro, he's barrel chested as a motherfucker, bro. It is wild. When you see it, you're gonna be like, that is not the same person. You're not gonna believe it when you see it.
Well, that would be very concerning if there's been physiological changes to his body because of the injury, which, dude, that happens all the time.
This ain't injury. This is off season eating too many cheeseburgers.
This year. Oh, you're talking before the season started? I thought you're talking
just keep going.
All right. Anyways, in his rehab start, he did well. He did throw about 5 innings and pitched well. So there's reason to expect that his pitch count's probably going to be about 85, 90 pitches because that's kind of where it was in his rehab. So I would have no reason to think that Skubal wouldn't be somewhat at his normal workload. The totals for Skubal versus Cleveland, I mean, early on, this trended over, but the last since 2023, 7, 4, 1, 5, 10, and 5 have been the combined scores for these games. And Cantillo has pitched very well. Cleveland is 10-4 when Cantillo has been on the bump, and 5-1 when he's been at home. Hell, the Cleveland has been good against Skubal in his career. Against Detroit, 4-3 this year, 2-3 on the road, and then against Cleveland, 3-3. But they have lost 3 of their last 4 games that Skubal has been on the mound. I kind of think Cleveland is a sneaky little pick here, but I also think the under, but really didn't like that the line came out and set it at an 8, and that the first 5 was under 4 at plus money. Those were really kind of weird indicators. So the best play I have here would probably be, man, try Cleveland. Things look pretty dysfunctional out there in Detroit. So, go ahead and fade Ruby Roo and go ahead and try Cantillo on the other side. That'd be my bet here. I'm not going to play it, but that's the bet I'd come closest to here would be Cleveland. I promise I do have a bet coming up, but the under 8 made me nervous to stay off any kind of under, and the first 5 under 4 at plus money confirmed I should only look at a side, and the Cleveland would be that side.
Oh, fuck, I wasn't muted. Our guy in the chat, Lone Star Raider, said, I'm fading Skubal after injury, so he's with you. Doug Wise, on the other side, he's taking that minus 133 with the Tigers. Shout out to Kelly. Julian, man, I'm glad you're doing well. And in the chat, Julian, it's good to see you, my brother. I can't wait to kick it again. Coin. Everybody, man, hit the like, share it. Thank you guys for being in here, man. Let me put the weather up real quick so you get all that information on here, and then we will move on to the next one here. Got a handful of games left. Let's see. We're only like 20 people out. Let's see if we can get to that 120 mark, and I'll do a giveaway here on the show today. But let's move on and keep this thing rolling. Moose. Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Cincinnati Reds here. Got to pull this game up as well. Looks like you got 35-34 for the Diamondbacks, 32-36 for the Reds here. Slight favorite, like a minus. Oh, it looks like it's moved. I'm showing a minus 148 here. Mm-hmm. So a minus 148 for the Diamondbacks here. They got Soroka on the mound. He is 8-3 on the season with the 3.28 ERA, 72 strikeouts, 17 walks, and a 1.15 WHIP. You got Louder on the mound for the Reds here, 3-3 on the season with a 5.01 ERA, 31 strikeouts, 23 WHIP, 23 walks, and a 1.45 WHIP. I kind of wanted to bet Nate Lowe in this spot, but he's kind of been sucking lately, so I stayed off of his total base prop here, but he is getting big plus money on it. But what you got on this one, Moose?
I was kind of shocked at where I ended up on this game, and I went down a rabbit hole on this. So since 2024, between the Diamondbacks and the Reds in Cincinnati, the combined totals for those games, 8, 7, 9, 7, 14, 6, and 7. That blew me. I was shocked. I would have been, if you told me, hey, Diamondbacks, Reds in Cincinnati, how many of those games do you think just flew over the total? I'm like, all of them, every single one. There's no way those totals went under, yet they went under. And the Reds this month without Ellie are 2-8, and 4-6 of those games have gone to the under. Stroka has been pitching well, not exactly all that impressive, but a 1.78 ERA in May. He's given up 3+ runs only 3 times this year against the Dodgers, the Phillies, and Milwaukee. The underlying metrics show that, like, hey, there's regression coming. But you look at that pitching run value, that top of the baseball savant page, exactly where it should be, prioritized over all the other numbers. He just doesn't allow runners to score. And that's kind of important in baseball. His slurve has become his number one pitch, and he is using this thing to death. 33% of the time he's using his slurve. He started throwing it in 2023 when he returned to baseball. It was a 0.6% usage in 2023, 5.6% usage in 24, and then 34.8% last year, 33% this year, a spin rate that is approaching 3,000 RPM. When you have a pitch that has a spin rate that's around 3,000 RPM, you have something that has dynamic movement. The concern is that he's using it a lot, and the whiff rate is starting to slowly project down as he's using it more and more. The other side is where I think you'd have a lot more concern towards any kind of total or value here. The fact that they had this at about a minus 125, a minus 130 shows that the market kind of might believe in Laudier over there on the Cincinnati side. The Reds are 4-5 with Laudier on the mound, 2-1 at home. But the first 5, Cincinnati 4-1 to start the year when Laudier was on the mound. But since then, 0-4. He's been a ground ball pitcher, so all those weather metrics you show about how well the ball is carrying, Laudier is a ground ball pitcher. He has a 45% ground ball rate. That is decent, not great, but decent. Problem is that a lot of these ground balls that are get hit very, very, very hard. He had a shoulder injury that might explain some of the issues he had kind of towards the middle part of the season. He's likely going to have a pitch limit because they're bringing him back. Probably 70 pitches, I'd say, would be his pitch count limit. And I kind of think he's in line for a decent start here in his rehab. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, and no walks. The walk rate has been a problem for her this year. When he first came back, he immediately started walking guys. I know that the walks would be the issue, but as a ground ball pitcher, you can eliminate walks. And I liked where this was at. Some numbers to kind of support where I'm at in my first 5. Arizona, first 5 total over under 38, 29, and 1, but on the road, the last 10 on the road, 7-3. Cincinnati, first 5 at home, 33 and 30, 18, 12, and 2. But their last 10 without Ellie, like I said, 4, 3, and 3. But the big ones, Laudier, under 4.5. Soroka, under 4.5 is 5 and 7 in his starts. I like the first 5 under here. That's where I took the first 5 under 4.5, minus 110 last night. You could probably get a better number now, but I like that first 5 under here, Cincinnati and Arizona.
Hey, real quick, I accidentally hit the weather, and this was just, I'm saying, for anybody who's doing their own capping, I mean, for all I know, there might be somebody out there that has, us turned down and they're using the graphics because these are great graphics. I accidentally did this, and I hit the weather on the last game with the Guardians and the Tigers. So real quick, if you were looking at the graphic and using this information, this is the correct one. Everything else was right. This is the only thing I hit the wrong one on. I'm sorry about that. I had the wrong weather report. But there you go. There's the right weather report. I'm just going to talk a little bit slower and use pronunciation to get these motherfucking words out of my mouth, Moose. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Our guy Steven out there rolling in. Dan Hawkins, or Dan, good to see you, Dan, my dude. It's a new name in the chat, man. Everybody out there, hit the like, share the video. We're going to give away $25 to somebody in the chat if we get up to 120 here, which we could very easily do. So help us do that, man, and let's keep it moving. Air, I'm not going to say all the letters, but he said, best show on pub. I don't know about that, man, but I do appreciate the hell out of you, and I love listening to Moose Cap Baseball in here. Let's keep it rolling. All righty. Phillies taking on the Brewers here. Phillies have become my new Padres, by the way. If you want to call me a fan, the Phillies replaced – but that's just Brandon Marsh. I mean, he's literally the best baseball player probably ever to play the game. So,
all right, there you go.
No reaction. 37 and 32 are the Phillies here. Brewers sitting at 42 and 25. Milwaukee, boy, Mizorowski was a show last night. He had 104.5, if I'm not mistaken. It was the hardest pitch ever thrown by a starting pitcher was Mizorowski. Guys, get ready because the norm's going to be – we're going to start seeing 105. Like used to, you saw 100 and it was like a freak show. Now 100 is kind of like almost normal. 105 is going to become the new freak, and it's on its way here. You got Aaron Nola on the mound for Philly, sitting at 3-4, a 5.86 ERA, 68 strikeouts, 22 walks, and a 1.45 WHIP. Shane Dorhan on the other side, 3-1 with the 3.11 ERA, 37 strikeouts, 11 walks, and a 1.12 WHIP. This is a guy that was, struggling to get through 4 innings, almost like bullpen guy, right? But he did go 6 1/3 against Colorado June 7th in his last start, gave up 5 hits, 3 walks, or 3 runs and 1 walk. So not a bad start there. I think it's a bit of an aggressive line, if I'm going to be honest, for Milwaukee. I like Philadelphia here at plus money. Aaron Nola's getting up there in fucking age. He's not really been somebody in the last year I've wanted to bet going back to last season. But what did I say earlier, Moose? That old country song, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be Aaron Nola right here. They got to get right after fucking all those strikeouts yesterday. I like the Phillies here. I just have not pulled the trigger yet. What you got?
I would have less likelihood to back Nola than I would Castillo here. The main reason is because of the 4-seamer. Aaron Nola's 4-seamer is getting fucking destroyed. Like, destroyed. It is a 407 batting average against. It's an 864 slug against his fastball, Cab. 864 slug. 6 of the 11 home runs he's given up have been on his 4-seam fastball. If I was his pitching coach, I'd be like, dude, just stop throwing that fucking pitch, man.
Bro, I'm pretty sure I could hit his 4-seam, bro.
I'm just like, dude, stop.
I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I think I could. That shit is fucking meat, bro.
Yeah, and it's similar issues with his sinker ball and his cut. So it's just like, dude, I don't think you can throw a fastball anymore, man. Like your fastball just doesn't really. The knuckle curve and the change are both like good. They're still actually decent pitches. They get a solid. They're low batting averages against, low slug. It's just you can't throw a fastball. Just can't throw it. And a lot of it is just because anytime he throws it, it just gets hit really hard. His barrel rate and his fastball is a lot higher, but even if you just look at his overall barrel rate, he's got a barrel rate of 37.9% this year. And the MLB average is about 37.1. There's certain statistics and metrics in baseball that if you're average, you're actually well below average. You can, sorry, I'm probably going to, this might get you in trouble, but I'm going to go ahead anyways, because it's just too true. You could think of it like the Asian scale. All right. If you're being average or you're kind of below average, you bring great shame to family. So you do not want to be below average. If you are average, you are disappointment. Why can't you be more like your sister? And if you are good, if you are above average,
hold on, bro. I mean, don't go fucking halfway.
Go practice.
Don't go halfway on this. What do you mean, sister?
Very true. Good catch. Good catch. But we don't know what Asian country you are in. Technically, you could be in Japan or Philippines. But anyways, so Nola and his hard hit rate and how poor his fastball has been would lead me to think that, yeah, all right, this line is probably where it should be. Drohan is the number 24 prospect in the Milwaukee organization, so not sure how much they want to commit to him. It seems like they're being overly aggressive with him and how they're kind of using him because he's gone 2 2/3, and then he's gone 4, and then his last start was 6. So how are they going to be aggressive? The Philadelphia Phillies against left-handed pitching have been poor average, but really good power. And one of the things you kind of want to look at with power is if you look at the slug, it's a 4.8 slug for Philly, but it's a 184 ISO, which tells you that when they are hitting the ball, and ISO is just to kind of really quickly is when you actually hit the ball, taking on-base percentage out of the equation. When you actually hit the ball, how efficient and how much power are you actually applying to your hits? And if you have a higher ISO over 150, you're about average. When you're in that 190, 200 range, you're good, really good. So when you're 184 ISO, it's telling you that they hit the ball. When they hit it, they're hitting it pretty hard. I would be on Milwaukee here. I'm not going to pay the price. And then plus, it's still a young guy, but Milwaukee would be the only side I could be on. Maybe a Milwaukee team total over, but I could not get there. I'm not going to be betting it, but still.
Looks like we're going to go a tiny bit longer here. With the graphics, it's hard not to, but there's the answer to your question right there, Moose. Look, roof's closed. So when we put the weather up there, if it's closed, it's going to let you know. Again, tip of the cap to our guy Swig, man. Outstanding graphics. It makes it, I don't know about you, Moose, but it feels like super professional having these graphics here with us. Because like I said, whether you're tailing bets or not, the information's here for you to make your bets. And that's what it's all about, man. We want to beat these motherfucking books. We want to make some money, and we want to get better. We roll on to the next game here. Let me put us back. Houston Astros taking on the Kansas City Royals, and I do have another bet in this one for you guys. Let me pull this up. All right, 32-39 are the Astros taking on the 28-42 Royals. The Royals are a minus 125, 130 favorite here. Total sitting at 9.5. You've got Mike Burrows on the mound for the Astros, 3-8 on the season with a 5.77 ERA, 60 strikeouts, 28 walks, and a 1.57 whip. Noah Cameron on the mound going for the Royals. He is 3-4 on the season with a 3.84 ERA, 63 Ks, 17 walks, and a 1.19 whip. Okay. If you follow me, you know I love to bet Alvarez. But you also should know that I have not been doing that lately because the value's not there. And do you think, Moose, going against a lefty here after hitting 2 home runs in the first inning with 6 RBIs, do you think the value is there on Alvarez today?
I would say that they have it very, very juiced because he has really good left-handed splits.
Yeah, so no. So no, there's no value on Alvarez. So I'm not on Alvarez. Who I am on is the person who is standing right behind Alvarez in the lineup, who has gone 4 for 4 for me when I've bet him at plus money every time this season. Christian Walker, man, over 1.5 total bases. I love it because people pitch around Alvarez, right? Especially after what happened yesterday. You know, you're a little picky to that hitter. And I remember as a pitcher when I did the same thing, when I was picking at the corners or trying to pick around a certain hitter, for some reason, it's like we just give the next hitter the fattest fucking pitch in the world on the first pitch. And we've seen that time and time again where Alvarez walks and then Christian Walker pops a double or a home run right afterwards. Obviously does not mean that happens today, but I've seen it happen enough to where at plus 130, I'm all over Christian Walker here. So Christian Walker over 1.5 total bases. I love the bet. Moose, what you got in this game?
I obviously, you just alluded to the game last night. I mean, 14 runs scored in the first inning. 14 combined between the Royals and the Astros. But then 4 the rest of the game. 3 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th. So that game kind of turned sideways kind of quickly there. Maybe you want to bring up the weather here because weather will very likely be a factor here. It's not showing the rain, but there is a storm in the area that could interrupt. Again, I mention this guy almost every single time. Kevin Roth for weather is projecting that there is a little bit of a cell in the area that he anticipates the game could be played entirely dry, but that there could be a delay later in the game. Unlikely that it gets postponed, but a delay later in the game is possible here, which does give me a little bit of trepidation on kind of where I'm looking here. I am very close to playing this, but the rain is going to hold right now is going to hold me off of the fact that Burrows in 7 of his 13 games this year, the total has gone under 8.5. For Cameron in 5 of 12 games, under 8.5. That doesn't sound all that impressive, but 4 of the last 6 have gone under 8.5. Burrows has pitched well in the minors, but he has struggled in the majors. And there are plenty of players that they struggle. They do really well in the minors, but then they struggle in the majors. Is this one of those guys? Well, this is a really good opportunity against a Kansas City offense that has been inconsistent, to say the least, against right-handed pitching since May 25th. 397 ABs, 217 average, 362 slug, 145 ISO, hitting for a little bit of power, but at home, the last 294 at-bats, 112 ISO. The offense since June, though, 9 runs, 3 runs, 5 runs, 8 runs, 3, 3, 6, 5, 4, 2, and 8. So it's picked it up a little bit, but still the slug isn't all the way there. 396 slug, 137 ISO, 736 OPS, so a little bit better. But I still kind of think that this is a sneaky under a day after you had all those runs scored. Noah Cameron, in the most positive, nicest way I can, is a generic lefty. And I mean that as positively as I can possibly mean that.
I know you're not about to bet it under with weather conditions going on, though.
I'm not. I haven't bet it yet, but that is the side I'm looking at. I'm looking at the under. Houston against left-handed pitchers. They have had power, but since May 4th, they've had the fewest amount of at-bats against left-handed pitching since the beginning of May. 216 at-bats with a 208 average, 403 slug, and 194 ISO. So they're hitting it for power. But I like this under. The weather I'm going to have to pay attention to, but I had this circled. Wanted to check and see what it looked like in the morning because I thought I would get a better number, but it looks like there has been a ton of movement, even though a lot of money has gone on the over. I like the under here. If I can get weather confirmation, if I can feel confident about the market, I will be betting the under here, 9.5 or the better 9 or 8.5 alt.
All right, so you got somebody who likes the under here, and my guy Moose, and you got myself, Christian Walker over 1.5 total bases. But as the chat says, shout out to my guy Kelly, I bet this game don't go. A lot of people saying the weather is there. Moose talked about it. Check the weather before you bet this baseball game. Let's keep this thing moving, man. Shout out to Trevor in the chat, man. He was going to join us today, Moose. He was going to make a guest appearance and hop on here with us, but sadly he had to go into work. I know that sucks, man, but I do appreciate you stopping in and showing up in the chat. If you guys don't follow our guy Trevor, man, make sure you go follow him. Live Lines, correct me if I got it wrong. I'm not the best with names, but I'm in there in the chat. He's got his own channel now. Also a good follow on X. He's going to post his bets just like we do. So, we're all about beating the books, man. So that guy will help you do it as well. Let's keep this moving, man. And he will be up here with us very soon. So I look forward to that. Colorado Rockies versus the A's. Sorry, I got to find this game too for us. All right, Rockies, obviously, just being the Rockies, 26-44. The A's, on the other hand, playing a little better, man. New city, new vibe, 34-35. That rhymed. Did not plan on that. Boy, it sounded good. Kyle Freeland going for the Rockies, 1-6 with a 7.81 ERA, 45 strikeouts, 16 walks, and a 1.7 whip. Joey Estes on the other side. I don't got much information on him here. Looks like August 26th? When was his last start?
I don't know. Who gives a shit, man? Like, dude, it's the two worst fucking pitchers in a game on the fucking moon. All right? Like
what are we going to cap here? My best to be interested. This is Jimmy's favorite game today, bro. And if he's out there,
yeah, because there's going to probably be a shit ton of runs. Like, there's not much like you do here. You go take the over, and if you want to be contrarian, take the under. Like, it's the two. Like, you could literally pick like who are the two worst best pitchers we could put in a situation where it's a game on the fucking moon and it's 100 degrees out. These are the two guys you're picking. So.
That's a good bet right here. See, you can find a gym and fucking shit. I think the guy Dan has a good idea right here. He said,
if you want to pay minus 139, that's fine. I'm not going to be paying a minus 130. Look, any bet that you win is obviously a bet that you're happy you made. I don't care what the odds are. But in a game like this, you're either contrarian, saying I'm going to take the under here. You're taking home run props. Or you're taking the over hits, runs, RBIs. The only way you're looking at this is looking at the overs. Maybe I'm just being a biased, grumpy ass pitcher that would hate to pitch in a park like this, which is probably very, very likely what's going on right now. But yeah, dude, fuck this goddamn stadium, dude. 100 degrees and you're on the goddamn moon. Like, no.
Yeah, I don't got anything in this one either, so we can keep it rolling, man. Shout out to the chat. I keep coming back, man. Land of the Tree. Have not ever seen you in the chat, but I got to say, what? I don't know what you're asking what about, man. If you can specify the what, I got you. But what? Good to see you in the chat, though. And again, shout out to our other Dan, Josh, everybody out there, man. Hitters props is what Lone Star Raider said. So let me put this up for you in case you are trying to bet them. You got the batting of stuff here. Let me put the bullpens up for you. I'm not going to go into this.
You can go to Ballpark Pal and look at the hitter stuff, or you can go to what's the other one? Fantasy Info Central, where they have MLB daily matchups and they show you, how they've done against each pitcher. So if you'd like to do that, but
does that say plus 92%? That's broken.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Fuck this, dude. Fuck that shit, dude.
What the fuck?
Get this goddamn stadium off the screen. I don't want to see this.
Let's go to the next game. Wild, bro. Wow. All right, Cubs taking on the Giants, man. Shout out to the Giants, man. What a comeback. That 9-1 comeback was fun to watch earlier this week. Cubs sitting at 36-34, Giants 28-42 on the season. You have got Ben Brown, the man on the mound for the Cubs. Only 2-2, but does have a 1.74 ERA, 58 strikeouts, 16 walks, and only a meagerly 0.88 whip. Trevor McDonald on the other side going for the Giants, 2-3 with a 4.15 ERA, 37 strikeouts, 12 walks, and a 1.18 whip. I mean, Chicago only sitting at a minus 120 with Ben Brown on the mound. God damn, I want to bet that. Total sitting at 8. This is another one that I could look here and say, look, I understand that this is probably bait. The books are baiting you here. The Cubs have been playing like shit. They're playing horrible baseball of late. And then you got the Giants on the other side. Like I just said, they had a 9-1 comeback earlier this week. You got young guys in there. I mean, you're having fun still playing baseball, and that's what matters when you're on a team that's not going anywhere. I get why you might want to bet the Giants here, but personally, I'd like to take a fucking bet out on Ben Brown and the Cubs. If I do, I'll post it for you guys. Moose, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, interesting kind of cap here. It was kind of fun to kind of go through this. The Cubs are 11-7 when Ben Brown has been on the mound, but he's only been a starter for 6 games. So you look at that overall 11-7. Again, a lot of them are bulk, so you can look at it and you can get a good analysis on if his Petey, dude. Sorry, my dog is annoying the hell out of me right now. He
was doing so good last week,
dude. He was a week ago. He was literally like watching. He was a fan. He was in the audience. So today he's getting banned from the chat. So unfortunately today Peavy has been sent to the nether regions. So you look at kind of how this game has gone, and it's 6-2, the Giants at home against the Cubs, 11-6 overall since 24. Only 2 of those 8 games has been over 7.5, and only 1 of those games was over 8.5. Ben Brown has no game gone over 8 runs in his starts this year. McDonald, though, 4 of his 7 starts have gone over 8 runs. So if you're trying to look at like one trend versus the other, it's literally like they split. McDonald's ground ball rate, though, is fantastic. He has one of the highest ground ball rates in baseball with a 61.3% ground ball rate. But the walks, especially the walks in the last 3 games, has been an issue. A lot of 90+ mile an hour ground balls. So that's helping him get away from some of the base running issues that he's had, because he's allowed quite a few base runners, but ground balls eliminates base runners. I couldn't really get much of a read on this. I think the game is lined kind of appropriately, giving the edge to Ben Brown while not giving a significant unplayable play for the Cubs. Because you want to bet on Ben Brown, you also have to understand the bullpen has been overworked quite a bit. So if you bring the bullpen ERA back up here, kind of scrolling through, you'll see that they've done well. But that if you go to RotoWire and how much they've been used, you see the Cubs bullpen has been doing well recently. But if you go to RotoWire and if you check their usage rates, you're going to see some blues this week. From Wednesday through Friday, you had Thebar. I mean, really, they should be fine. All right, looking at this again, they should be fine. I wouldn't be overly concerned with the Cubs bullpen. So I think the Cubs as a money line side would be fine. But I didn't really have much of anything other than I wanted to try to take an under here, but not going to get there because McDonald's got so many games that have gone over 8 runs. I like the Cubs here, not going to bet it. I kind of like the under, not going to bet it.
I might add the Cubs. I'll post it if I do. Let me put the weather up in case I didn't put that up for you guys. Want to make sure I get all the graphics up, man. Once again, love the graphics. I think Big BAEB I don't know what you're going for there. Is guessing the score for the games. Listen, man, it's in the comment section when the show ends. So you got to put your Baltimore 3-0 in the YouTube comments like after the show. It helps us with the algorithm, okay, my dude. And then the next one, you can put that in right now. You got to go to the sesh. It's a show that ran yesterday. Go to the sesh and drop that in the comments right now. I appreciate you, my dude. New name to see in the chat. But again, it's in the comment section after the shows, okay? Markel, shout out to you. He said overtime. Steven Harrison in the chat. Nasty Nate, we're on to our last game. And I think Nate said he's got something on the Rays. Drop it again, Nate. What'd you say you had on the Rays here? I don't remember, but you said something just a little bit ago. Rays 40-26, taking on my dude Wine Time. And on that point, shout out to Wine Time and Spoons Bets, man. They will be live tonight right here on Pub Sports Radio, breaking down tomorrow's card. Walk-off wagers, one of the best things we got going. Make sure you guys check it out tonight. Shout out to Wine Time and my dude Spoons Bets. Angels make me think of Wine Time, but he's a better capper than his team is a baseball team. I'll say that. Shout out to Griffin Jacks. He is on the mound for Tampa Bay with a 1-4 record and a 4.15 ERA, 36 strikeouts, 18 walks, and a 1.41 WHIP. Going against Jose Soriano, 7-4 on the season, a 2.96 ERA, 87 strikeouts, 40 walks, and a 1.24 WHIP. You know, Soriano kind of probably feels like anybody else there other than Trout. Trout might be happy staying there, but I got to imagine he wants to get the hell out of get the hell out of Anaheim at some point. I kind of wanted to take Tampa Bay here, especially after, losing last night 3-4. But I'm not going against Soriano. I'm not betting Tampa Bay in this situation. You got a total sitting at 8, maybe like the under a bit there. But it does seem like, and I'm ready to put up the numbers here, it does seem like the Angels are kind of getting hot at the plate here the last maybe like 5 to 10 games. So I got no bet, Moose. What you got?
They didn't really even announce who was going to be starting. I mean, it was the weirdest thing last night. They had Jackson Soriano essentially listed, but they didn't confirm it. They weren't giving any lines. They weren't showing anything. So it's kind of like, just, all right. So one of them's probably getting scratched. All right. So I'm not going to cap this game and then find out that I went on some kind of crazy deep dive and they weren't even pitching that day. So I didn't do anything with this game. The fact that they went with both Soriano and Jackson, like, okay, well then what was like the holdup? Like what were lines waiting for? Just to kind of pull up what you were talking about, since May 25th, that would be the last 516 ABs against right-handed pitching. The Angels 272 average, 434 slug, and a 161 ISO. So hitting for some average, but not necessarily driving in runs would be an issue for the Angels right now. It seems like the line is giving Soriano a bit of respect, but goddamn, dude, Soriano's walk issues are becoming a major problem. 9 walks, 7 walks, I believe, and not the last start, but the start before that. So walks are a big problem for Soriano, and there is no defense against the walk. So if you are going to be putting a lot of base runners on against the Tampa Bay team that against right-handed pitchers does hit generally pretty well. They haven't been doing it all that much recently, but this year they've hit righties with some pretty solid ISO and slug. Not so much recently, but they have been known for that. I would take Tampa Bay here. Jax has pitched well, but that line, especially if it's correct, going from -105 to -110, so moving towards the Angels would make me think that it's probably more Angels. Maybe it's an under. Maybe the under is the sneaky play here, kind of, talking out loud.
I'm echoing the chat because I know you're kind of rolling. Kelly said just off the top of my head, but doesn't Soriano really suck at home? I bet you have those numbers. And real quick, I also want to shout out our guy Flash. That's Flash, our dude from Betting with the Bag that comes on. He said, hope you all cashed USA. Now play up on the diamond, man. Good to see you in here, Flash, man. Much respect, man. Much love. Appreciate you showing by. And do you know Kelly's question, Moose?
Yeah, home this year, 3.66 at home, 2.32 ERA on the road. And this is, you can't really look too much at the like before last year, because he's a completely different pitcher this year. Like he really worked on his curve. He's really been trying to lock that in. So you want to focus more on this year's home road splits. He has not been as good, but he's been serviceable. He's got tremendous stuff. It's all about if he lands the curve. That's 100% what you look at if you're watching him pitch. Is he landing the curve? Yes. Probably going to be a bad night for Tampa Bay.
Man, we got up over 110 people right now, man. So shout out to all you guys, very close. And we appreciate you guys coming in here, man. Again, I'm going to give you guys a chance, 2 chances to win $100. After this show ends, in the YouTube section in the comments, guess the score of a game and tell me who wins it. So, like our guy in the chat said, Baltimore 3-0. If you put in the comments Baltimore 3-0 and they win 3-0, next show to start it, I'm going to send you $100. Your second chance to win 100 is go back yesterday to the sesh on Pub Sports Radio right here on the YouTube channel you're on and guess the score of the finals game tonight. Knicks Spurs. Tell me the score. Tell me who wins. If you get it right, you win $100. Hey, maybe somebody out there will strike gold and win both of them, Moose. You can win it yourself. I told Dutch, I said, if I get it right, you got to pay me and vice versa. I want a chance to win too. It's fun. We all got a chance to win, so everybody go guess. Thank you, guys. Let me fucking move us back. We're going to recap our bets right here. Moose, if you got yours lined up, I'll let you go first. But Dizzy Donuts, Kelly, Lewis the Gambler, Kyle. I almost said Kelly again. I'm dyslexic as a motherfucker and struggling with words today. Lav 50, Nasty Nate. He's on the Rays first 3. Everybody, thank you guys for tuning in today. Hit the like button and let's recap those bets.
The only banked bet right now would be the first 5 under for Arizona in Cincinnati. That's under 4.5. I took minus 110 last night. I think you can get a better number. I anticipated that number to go up. Hasn't moved too much, but I think you might be able to get a better number. Also looking at first 5 Arizona minus a half. The fact that the money line has moved towards Arizona is very likely going to be putting me on Arizona first 5. And I'm also looking at Houston, Kansas City under 9.5, under 9. Pay attention to the weather. I'm going to want to make sure. I'm going to want to confirm. It seems like there's weather coming in there. And I was looking first 5 Detroit, Cleveland under 4. Unlikely to take it given the fact that it was set at a 4. But that's all my action.
Let's have another Saturday like last Saturday, Moose. Let's. You're gonna kick ass like last Saturday. Like I said, it's funny when we bet. Every day. One day doesn't matter. It matters what you do overall every day. The account is what matters. But we have kind of kicked ass on these Saturday shows. I've only had 2 losing shows since we started, and I plan on keeping it at 2 today. So here we go. I got Paul Goldschmidt over 1.5 total bases at plus 134. I love that fucking bet. Okay, he's got like 10 hits out of 22 at bats off of Gausman. So love it. Christian Walker. I've gone 4-0 when I bet him. So today might be the first time I lose with them because that's how it goes. But at 1.5 total bases plus 122, I fucking love that bet as well. Christian Walker over 1.5 total bases plus 122. And then my last hitter prop that I have is Josh Young for the Texas Rangers over 1.5 total bases at plus 130. He has no at bats off Suarez, but I think he will come through today. I also have the Braves money line, and those are my 4 bets for the day. Moose, I'll strike you out any day. Come on down. Let's do it. Then you can strike me out too. We'll return each other the favor. So
yeah, that'll be fun. It's like, all right, sweet. Yeah. We both are pitchers. Cool.
Who looks the worst striking out? That's what we'll do.
I used to be a hitter.
Me too. Yeah. I turned the pitcher machine on the other day, and I made contact. I didn't look so bad, but goddamn, 85 plus is way fat. Like my eyes don't work. My eyes don't work no more, bro. Like that shit is moving, bro.
Yeah, you put on 85, it goes. It's like, no, dude. All right, stop fucking with me. You clearly put it on 100.
What?
It's like, no, that's 85. It's like, no. I know what 85 looks like. You knew what 85 looks like.
I said 85, not 105. It's actually on 79 right now. Oh, shit. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Moose, I fucking love talking baseball with you, man. That's why I get you here on Saturdays when I get the choice. Dizzy Donuts, Lone Star Raider, Josh Witt, all you guys, thank you. Hit the like, share the button, try and win that $100. And until next week, I guess I'm going to do our outro on the sesh. Stay high, and you know the vibes. Wait, I did it backwards. We're out.